Albert Einstein had said about Mahatma Gandhi that generations to come will scarce believe that ever such a man as he walked in flesh and blood on the surface of the earth. On January 30th, 1948, Mahatma Gandhi walked for the last time from his room towards the platform from where he would address his daily prayer meeting. At the top of the steps, a man fired 3 shots at him at point-blank range. The Mahatma fell at this spot with the name of the Lord on his lips. The gentle voice that had spoken to his countrymen and led them to freedom was stilled. His body was brought back to the sparsely furnished room from where he had started walking for the prayer meeting. In the same room, a fortnight earlier, he had been on an indefinite fast, staking his life on the need for communal harmony. He had broken his fast when the citizens of Delhi had pledged to protect the lives and honor of their neighbors. He had cautioned them that unless they lived together in peace and harmony,
यहाँ के मुसलमान नहीं, लेकिन पाकिस्तान के मुसलमान, सारी दुनिया के मुसलमान, उनसे हम दोस्ती न करें तो आप समझ लें, इसमें कोई शक नहीं है कि हिंदुस्तान हमारा वो हमारा नहीं रहेगा, वो हिंदुस्तान पराया हो जाएगा, हिंदुस्तान गुलाम हो जाएगा, पाकिस्तान गुलाम होगा.
Talking about the funeral, Margaret Bourke White, the photographer journalist, said that this was the biggest gathering of humanity she had seen at one place. Were already influencing many people in different parts. The First Lady of USA spoke as the chief guest.
We are here tonight to celebrate the 125th anniversary of Gandhi's birth. And in thinking about Gandhi and what he means to us on the eve of a new century, I am drawn back to the visit my daughter and I paid to his ashram. It was one of the highlights of our trip. Of course, I had some idea beforehand of Gandhi's life and contributions, but seeing the place where he and his wife lived, seeing the sheer simplicity of his existence was profoundly moving to me. I remember walking into his room, which was bare, except for a mattress on the floor, a pair of slippers, a small writing. He read Henry David Thoreau, whose essay on civil disobedience, images of him organizing his compatriots to clean latrines and perform other lowly chores in solidarity with the untouchables, whom he always referred to as children of God. And of course, images of him and his spinning wheel. I recently came across something Gandhi wrote that I think is gaining in popularity, and it's easy to understand why. It says that violence springs from 7 root causes, or blunders, and he listed the 7 blunders as follows: wealth without work, pleasure without conscience, knowledge without character, commerce without morality, science without humanity, worship without sacrifice, politics without principles. If we look at our own society today, whether we are American, Indian, or from any other country, we see firsthand how right he was. We see ourselves committing the same blunders over and over again. Somehow in this year of commemoration, if we as a global family could once again commit ourselves to Gandhi's belief in the oneness of all that lives, we could perhaps begin to acknowledge our own blunders to prevent them from occurring again. There is no telling what we might accomplish individually and collectively if we used this occasion, every one of us, to think how we might better try to fulfill the ideals he set before us. Thank you very much.
Martin Luther King Jr. used the Gandhian techniques of conflict resolution very effectively in the civil rights movement in USA.
In thinking through the way we here at the University of Maryland might commemorate the 50th year anniversary of Gandhi's death, we have brought together a whole variety of people, faculty, students, administrators, who are interested in one way or another with the whole question of Gandhi and Gandhi's legacy. And I think one of the things that we've been trying to think through is how we can involve more and more people, how we can reach people in different ways. So some of what we're thinking about doing is to bring noted scholars from abroad, as well as to in fact, reach for scholars here on campus who have something to say about Gandhi. To bring students together to talk about their own work with nonviolent resolutions of conflict, to have students organize cultural programs, and to try, in a sense, to bring about a heightened awareness of what India itself was like in the first 5 decades of the century, if you will, in Gandhi's India.
A conference on the legacy of Mahatma Gandhi for the 21st century was held at the University of Maryland on April 17th and 18th, 1998. In preparation for it, and concurrently with it, an exhibit of the Mahatma Gandhi Memorial Center. These photographs represented various phases of his life. There were photographs also of persons such as Martin Luther King Jr., who were influenced by his life and thought.